Sometimes a second chance can lead you straight into danger. Millie believed she had finally been given a second chance. A quiet job, a lovely mansion, and a rich family who welcomed her into their home. To all intents and purposes, she was the perfect housemaid. She is polite, hardworking, and honest. But as soon as she moves in, strange occurrences begin to happen. The door to her bedroom is locked from the outside, the windows won't open, and the woman of the house acts as if she's going mad. At first, Millie thinks she's been left alone in the house with a dangerous wife. But then she realizes a terrifying truth, that the monster in the house is not who anyone thinks it is. And by the time the truth is revealed, escaping the Winchester house might already be impossible. So, let's dive in. The story begins when Millie comes to the enormous Winchester residence in New York for an interview. She is hoping to become the live-in housemaid for the family. When she knocks on the door, she is met by Nina Winchester, the elegant but slightly nervous woman of the house. Nina carefully reviews Millie's resume and quickly picks up on something strange. Millie is obviously overqualified for a housekeeping position because she has a college education. Nina is curious and asks why someone with her education would want to work as a housemaid. Millie matter-of-factly states that she likes helping families and prefers working in homes where she can really make a difference. Nina appears to be pleased with the response and quickly moves on to describe the duties of the position. Millie will be responsible for cleaning the house and assisting with the care of Nina's 7-year-old daughter, Cece. As they are conducting the interview, Nina gives Millie a tour of the massive mansion. She is very proud to say that the interior design of the house is the work of her husband Andrew, who is in the tech industry and seems to have a flair for architecture and design. The house is elegantly designed and equipped with the finest furniture. Nina takes Millie to a cozy lounge room with a huge television set and a bookshelf filled with drinks. Meanwhile, Nina tells Millie that Andrew spends most of his time in that room and that Millie is free to use the room whenever she wants. Then they proceed to another living room that Nina says the family hardly uses. The house appears to be immaculately clean and well organized, leaving Millie a bit perplexed. She hesitantly asks Nina if she really needs a housemaid given the cleanliness of the house. Nina pauses before giving the actual reason. She whispers to Millie that she is pregnant and will soon require additional assistance around the house. But she asks Millie not to tell Andrew yet because the pregnancy is still at a very early stage, and therefore she would like to be absolutely sure before telling him. After showing Millie Cece's room and a scale model of the house that Andrew himself built, Nina finally takes Millie to the room where she would stay if she got the job. The room is situated at a distance from the rest of the house and is soundproof. Nina jokingly tells Millie that she can play her music as loudly as she wants and nobody will hear it. At the end of the interview, Nina gives Millie $20 to put gas in her car and tells her that she will call her after conducting a background check. As Millie walks out of the mansion, she has already assumed that the job is lost to her. The reason is quite simple, that everything she has put in her resume is a lie. That evening, Millie has nowhere to go. She finally decides to freshen up in a public restroom and later sleeps in her car. Life has not been treating her well lately, and she is running out of options. However, the next morning, something unexpected happens. Her phone rings. To her surprise, it is Nina, calling to inform her that she got the job. Later that afternoon, Millie comes back to the Winchester mansion with her bags. However, as she approaches the gate, she asks a man standing nearby if he knows the code to get in. Before he can answer, the gate swings open by itself. As she steps inside, she is shocked to see the whole house in disarray. The mansion, which was always spotless, is now a complete mess with clothes and papers scattered all over the place. Nina appears and greets her casually before explaining that she requires Millie to clean everything up quickly because she must work on a speech for the PTA. Millie gets to work immediately and spends the entire day cleaning until the house is spotless once again. Later that evening, Andrew returns home with Cece. Then, Nina introduces Millie as the new housemaid who will be living with them. However, Andrew is a bit reluctant at first but welcomes her politely. When Millie finally goes to her room that night, she starts to notice some odd details. There is a small fridge filled with bottled water and some simple snacks. However, it is the door that grabs her attention. She notices that the door can't be locked from the inside, but it can only be locked from the outside. She is confused and tries to open the window to get some air, but it doesn't budge. It seems to be sealed shut. Just then, Nina appears in the room with dinner for Millie. She nonchalantly mentions that the window is broken and will get the handyman to fix it later. Millie also asks if she can have a key to the room. Nina laughs and says she will bring one later. She also mentions that the room was actually Andrew's storage closet. Before she leaves, Nina gives Millie a brand new phone that is linked to the family credit card so that Millie can purchase groceries and other essentials for the house. In the coming days, Millie starts to notice some odd behavior from Nina. One morning, she sees Nina furiously tossing things around the living room. Nina is convinced that her PTA speech is missing and immediately accuses Millie of tossing it away. Andrew intervenes and reassures his wife that she only needs to rewrite the speech while he takes Cece to school. Later, Millie also meets Enzo. He is known as the reserved groundsman who is working outside. Enzo asks her what she is doing in the house, as if he is trying to warn her of something. However, as soon as he sees Nina approaching, he halts his conversation and walks away. At a PTA meeting, Millie listens to the mothers gossiping about Nina. They say that Nina had been in a psychiatric hospital for 9 months. Some women even go on to say that Nina had tried to drown Cece and had attempted to take her own life by overdosing on pills. However, Andrew had saved both Nina and the child. To the rest of the world, Andrew appears to be a very patient and loving husband who is being made to suffer by his unstable wife. While trying to cope with the mess in the house, Millie is also fighting another personal struggle. She holds regular meetings with her parole officer, who reminds her that she must maintain this job if she wants to stay out of prison. If she loses the job or violates any terms, she will be sent back to prison to serve the last 5 years of her sentence. The cause of her imprisonment is very surprising. Millie once killed a man. She was originally given a 15-year sentence but was paroled after serving 10 years. She is now trying to live a low-key life and stay out of trouble. Despite the tension in the house, Millie and Andrew begin to develop a closeness. They occasionally watch television together late at night and discuss their lives. Andrew opens up to her about the stress of managing his firm and his desire to raise a happy family. Millie starts to develop a sympathy for him. They eventually go out to a Broadway show together when Nina mysteriously cancels their plans. It is a magical night, and for the first time in years, Millie feels as if she belongs somewhere. That night, their emotional bond translates to a physical one, and they sleep together. But neither of them knows that Nina has already begun to suspect the truth. Not long after, Nina reveals Millie's criminal record to Andrew, saying that Millie was in prison for 10 years. To everyone's surprise, Andrew states that he doesn't care about her record and that she deserves a second chance. However, things quickly go from bad to worse when Nina accuses them of having an affair. Andrew denies the allegations and says that Nina is just imagining things, as usual. Enraged, Nina fires Millie on the spot. Andrew promptly kicks Nina out of the house and tells Millie that she can move in with him instead. For a very short time, everything seems to be going well. Millie thinks that she has finally left her troubled past behind her. But all of this is about to change. One evening, Andrew locks Millie in her bedroom. Suddenly, the truth reveals itself that Andrew has been manipulating all of them. The story unfolds through a series of flashbacks, revealing Nina's history. Nina was not crazy at all. Rather, Andrew had been controlling and abusing her for years, making her seem mentally ill to the rest of the world. He manipulated events, drugged her, and even faked occurrences to discredit her. Finally, Nina realized that the only way to get away from Andrew was to introduce a replacement for herself, that someone naive enough to draw Andrew's interest. Millie was that person. Millie is now locked inside the bedroom and is compelled to punish herself by cutting her stomach with pieces of broken china. However, she soon recalls why she is in prison. She had killed a rich man who was secretly molesting her roommate. The man was considered perfect, just like Andrew. Millie realizes that she is dealing with another monster and decides to fight back. She stabs Andrew with a knife hidden in the room and locks him inside. Later that night, Andrew escapes and attacks the two women, but in the process, Millie pushes him down the staircase. Nina quickly sets up the scene to make it look like an accident. The police soon investigate, and they decide not to pursue the matter further. Andrew's death is declared as a tragic fall, a chilling ending. After the funeral, Nina thanks Millie for saving her life and gives her money to begin again in a new place. Millie is finally able to leave the Winchester house behind, but the story has one final chilling twist. Millie goes to another job interview for a housemaid position at a different mansion. The woman interviewing her cautions her that her husband is very hard to please. Millie smiles sweetly and asks one small question. When can I start? Because sometimes the best housemaid isn't necessarily looking for a job. Sometimes she is hunting monsters. And that's how a job that was meant to be a new beginning became a life-or-death struggle to survive. In the end, the truth was finally revealed that Andrew was never the perfect husband that everyone thought he was, and the two women he once tried to control were the ones who brought his reign of terror to an end. Millie gets to walk away with her freedom and a second chance at rebuilding her life, and Nina is finally able to escape the hell that she had been living in for so long. But what the story leaves us with the lesson is that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones with the most charming smiles. If you liked this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting movie recaps.